I've come to believe that it's the Islander in me that keeps me pushing forward and moving forward and trying to achieve more. And I've come to that realization after being around Harry Poulton for quite a while. Harry fools everybody into thinking that he's pretty laid back and nothing really bothers him. But I've come to see a different side of Harry Poulton, the side of Harry Poulton that allowed him to race 2 world champions, allowed him to be on the top of the game, even though he stayed pretty quiet about it. Now, in fairness, when I grew up in Prince Edward Island, my brother Mark and I obviously watched all the best ofs, right? Many of you probably did too if you were in racing. Best of 88, best of 89, best of 90, so on, that the USTA and the CTA put out. And I knew all the Poulton family from being around the barn myself. I didn't know Harry very well, right? Harry was like this unicorn. The difference was that he was real. You only saw him once in a while if you were lucky. And if you did see him, it wasn't signing autographs or, sitting like a big shot in a chair in front of a barn or at the grandstand in a table surrounded by people. First time I ever saw Harry Poulton, he was just walking from the burn area up towards the grandstand. I was a kid, I remember it vividly, and I remembered, I was starstruck. I think it was the year he won with Stargaze Hanover. He won the Gold Cup and Saucer, and I didn't know what to say. I mean, I was just a kid, and I said, "Hey, good luck in the big race." And he stopped and said, "Thanks, kid." And it was just the coolest thing ever for me when I was a young man. That's the guy that raced Matt Scooter. That's the guy that raced On the Road Again, and he's racing Stargaze Hanover. He's all these good horses, and he looks so much like his brothers. It wasn't hard to figure out it was Harry Poulton, but just how laid back and cool he was made him Harry Poulton. And I ran into Harry Poulton quite a while later. I moved to Toronto, a young kid trying to drive and train, and kind of the opposite of Harry, right? I hadn't done a lot. I was kind of arrogant at times, but Harry was always good, right? He was always good to me. He was always nice. He listed me on some horses. Now, granted, they may have shown the odd X, but I was grateful for the drives. And later on, this is how long I've known Harry in stretches. Later on, as Harry had wound down his stable and moved back to PEI, I started the stable.ca with my wife. And, at the time, we were just trying to do so much. It was like we both had a shovel and a pickaxe, and we were trying to build this massive thing. And a component of that thing was to have reputable horsemen that maybe still had a lot of life left in them. I won the Gold Cup in Sasha this year with Sintra. I'll tell you a little story about him in just a minute, but Sintra to me is a lot like Harry Poulton, right? Passed over by a couple of people because he was assumed to be too old, truthfully, but still had a lot of life left in him. And when given the opportunity, man, did he ever show it off. And I think you're seeing that this year with Harry Poulton in 2022. I saw it starting in 2021, but you see it in 2022. And again, he's still the big laid back, Harry, you'd never think unassuming gentleman. But man, when it comes to racing horses, he's laser focused on what his task is and how he can execute it. And you don't come by that overnight. That's been there for a long time, and it's probably laid dormant for a while. You saw it this year with the racing of Locatelli, Sintra, right? The two colts that he raced, Nothing But a Dreamer, Resolute Bay, on and on and on and on. Harry Poulton has been quietly one of the top trainers at Mohawk all year. And make no mistake, Mohawk is one of the toughest places to race in the solar system. Harry Polton has done as much for the stable.ca as I have or any horse has, just by doing exactly what I needed him to do. Be Harry Polton. You know, Harry and I maybe are in the same place in some regards. We both know where the winner's circle is at every track, but both step back away from driving. And I don't know why Harry did. I know I watched him win the Gold Cup and Saucer. Clearly he had talent as a driver, but for whatever reason decided that his life was a better place if he wasn't a full-time driver. At least that's how I feel. You know, you get to raise your kids, you get to, be with your family more, you get to do things that you can't do if you're a driver. You just can't. So in that regard, I respect Harry even more also. But this summer, many of you watch what we do at the stable, maybe through Harry or just through us. You know that I don't play a major role in Canada driving the horses at all. And I feel I drive where I can, where I should, where I'm needed, if I'm needed. And I listed James McDonald on Sintra this year. He drove him in the elimination. He told me he didn't think he could drive him in the final. My second choice was my other brother, Mark McDonald. He's won the Gold Cup and Saucer 2-3 times. And to be honest, I wasn't even sure if I was the third choice. I could have booked off some drives, some stake races, and go and drove the horse. But as scratch time approached at 9 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock in the morning that day, I pulled into the training center, and Harry walked right up to me and he said, you better get your ass down to PEI and drive that horse. And, I did, obviously. And I didn't realize why he said that or why it was so important to me until I pulled up on the backstretch. And I realized that I was probably never going to experience something like that again. Not from behind the horse, anyway. Which I'm perfectly fine with. And then it dawned on me that this is probably how Harry felt when he won with Stargaze Hanover. So I truly appreciate not just what Harry Polton has done for me, my family, and the stable.ca, but I appreciate what he did for me this August. He allowed me to see something that I had missed, that I didn't know was there. And without Harry Polton, I wouldn't have driven Sintra, and who knows what the stable would have looked like. Would it have been the stable of today? I don't know. But I know one thing. As an Islander, everybody should be proud of what Harry Polton accomplished. People forget because he is quiet, reserved, gentleman. You forget that he had twice in his life the best horse on the planet. Ran a top stable forever, and then when everybody thought he was down and out, he just came out swinging in the 12th round. So for Harry, I appreciate everything you do. I appreciate everything you did as an Islander, everything you do as the person who runs the stable.ca, and I look forward to everything you're going to do in the future. You are very deserving of this award. And again, thank you very much. Take care.